Hi everyone, I'm the Rum.
And I'm the Wine.
So in this video, we're going to go through some of the cool things we did in Sligo.
If you like learning more about different places in Ireland and generally what it's like to live here, do subscribe, make sure you ring the notification bell, but also check out our big backlog of videos if you're looking for advice on how to move to Ireland. Our first item on the list is actually not in Sligo. It's technically not even in the Republic of Ireland, but here's up. So if you drive from Dublin to Sligo, it's not too far, but if you're already going all the way, you might as well stop somewhere if you're in the area where you'd normally maybe not get to. So that's what we did. We went to a mountain that I still don't know how to pronounce.
Let's give it a shot.
Cuilcagh? I have no idea.
We'll put the spelling here.
Yes, one of these days I need to learn how to pronounce Irish names because it's getting embarrassing. But basically, it's like a mountain or hill if you're from a place with actual mountains. And they have this very long boardwalk, as in that was like a 12-kilometer track altogether going there and back.
Yeah, it was really long, and I kid you not, you walk on this boardwalk, it's kind of through some, not exactly boglands, but it reminded me.
It is literally boglands.
Like
that's why they put the trail there so you don't fall into the bog and die.
Yeah, you felt like, Sam and Frodo going up the mountain to get rid of the wandering. Yeah, sorry, we're nerds.
Yeah, except they didn't have to take a lot of stairs versus there were a lot of stairs. It's like sometimes you feel certain muscles hurt after a long day of walking, but those were some new muscles that were hurting after doing all of those stairs to try and get along the staircase to... No, stairway. Should be called staircase. Stairway to heavens.
Yes, and at the end of it, you're greeted with a lovely view. Yeah, we had a good view. The clouds had started to, move away. It was, not in summer, so we didn't get the 100% view, but even 80% view is worth it. Now we get to actually in Sligo, and one of the main attractions we were most excited for, because we like this phenomenon called Tidal Islands. If you watched one of our last videos, which we visited a tidal island in Scotland, we were over the moon, so to speak, find one here, right in Ireland. Now, a tidal island, for those who don't know, is pretty much that when the tide gets low enough, it exposes the actual seabed and you can walk across it to whatever your location is. In this case, that location is Coney Island. So called name because apparently, just like when people first went, well not first went, when they first, documented Coney Island in New York, it was filled with rabbits, and so this place too was supposedly filled with rabbits. We saw not one rabbit this time, so I suppose that was a long time ago. But this wonderful island, you get to experience the actual nature of the Atlantic Ocean. Pretty beautiful. It is inhabited by people, not just sheep and goats, though you would go there initially and think, hey, this is just farmland. There's some lovely old ruins of, some of the places that people used to live, like this big barn house.
Once we walked across the seabed, we then walked around the island, seeing some really nice views of Sligo Bay, the town, Benbulben, but the real highlight at the back is there is like a secret beach that actually stretches out for really long. And coming from the Caribbean person...
It was a good beach. It was a good beach. I
was
quite impressed, It wasn't stones, cough, UK. It was sand, lovely sand. And I can imagine definitely during the summer that, you would just drive over there and have a nice picnic there. And swim, of course. I think people swim in beaches. I don't because the water is too cold, but carry on, good folks. Now, one of the hills, but actually it's a rock formation that you can see from Sligo City, is one called Benbulben. Think we got that right? I checked it before, so yeah. But this lovely structure, it's over there, it's in the distance, you can of course climb it, but in this case we were thinking, we're kind of novices at going up structures, even though there's a slow, nice sloping path. We decided instead to opt for the forest walk around it. And this forest walk did exceed expectations. We were expecting a nice, calm walk, but the crazy thing about it is that the further you go into this walk, the closer to the actual rock formation face you come, and it gets just more and more beautiful.
I love how you're trying very hard not to call it mountain, so I can come in and be like, mountain. Because it's not that tall, but it's still, for Irish mountains, it is one of the higher ones. It's certainly one of the more, like, you'll notice. You notice the moment you're in County Sligo, I feel like, because you see it somewhere on the horizon, because it's just that noticeable in its tabletop formation. But as you walk along this forest walk, you're very distracted by the view, because they say it'll take 2 hours. The path is not that long. We were like, 2 hours to walk that path? Never. It did take the 2 hours, because we kept stopping to take pictures and just look at the mountain. And then you turn a corner and suddenly you're like, even more views of the sea, of the bay, of the surrounding areas, mountains in the distance everywhere. And that took us a lot of time to walk along as well, because I just kept stopping to look at the sea and the pretty view.
Oh, well worth it. We were there at the perfect time when the sun started rising over Benbulben. Gorgeous. The other 2 locations that are in that general area are both waterfalls. We'll start with Devil's Chimney. Cool name for a waterfall. It's actually one of Ireland's highest waterfalls. It's kind of famous for having this sort of, I can't remember if it's just during summer or when the weather is right, that the wind would actually blow stream of waterfall thing. I have no idea what you call it. Waterfall stream back up, so it looks almost like it's returning to its source.
Yes, so the funny thing is at the beginning of the trail it says, this is not Glencar Waterfall. Because they're very close to each other. It seems, I suppose, a lot of people expect Glencar Waterfall and they're like, we've been walking for 5 minutes, I still see no waterfall. Rate 1 star out of 5 stars, I don't know.
Yes, but the one thing that besides the beautiful waterfall is if you look back, the view. Oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of the lake, but you've got a lovely lake view.
I think Glencar Lake.
Glencar. Yes, that would make sense. That would make lots of sense. Speaking of Glencar, yes, Glencar is actually the more main attraction of the area, rated highly on us because there's a cafe with desserts. Right before you go, take a very, very short trek, like less than 5 minutes, to the grand attraction, the Glencar Waterfall, which is amazing. I mean, I don't need to talk about it. You can see it on screen right now. Yeah, it really makes you understand why the guy, who's the place famous for?
Yates.
Yeah. How he
that guy, the guy that won the Nobel Prize for literature is like, that guy.
Just a famous guy, yeah.
I love that.
that guy.
So all the things we've mentioned are already stunning, gorgeous, would go back and do again. But our favourite place was actually Knocknearea, which is like if I explained it to an Austrian, I'd say it's like the Hausberg of Sligo. A Hausberg is basically like the closest hill mountain that probably the locals would always go to as well for, go for walks, or at the foot of the mountain there's usually stuff going on, which there is, because there's Strandhill, which is an interesting attraction of its own. But Knocknearea is this hill that you can walk up to. So if you're arriving without the car, there's actually a bus that drops you off almost at the start of the trail. And it's again a bit of a boardwalk kind of walk. And did you like the stairs? Have you realized outside of Dublin? There's a lot of stairs, but it just looks magical as you're walking through the mountain along those wooden stairs, and in the distance you kept hearing the sea. It's just that is one of my most distinct memories of going to Sligo, walking in this dark forest that looks like a fairy forest, but in the background you hear the sea. It just feels very otherworldly, magical.
Yes, and for me, who likes adventuring but doesn't like heights at the same time. Yeah, this sort of end view is the thing that would make anyone that doesn't like heights start liking heights. As you can see, bays, lovely bays. In fact, you could see almost all of Coney Island right there. And right at the top, the pinnacle, is Queen Maeve's grave. The interesting thing about this thing is that we don't actually know what's in it. Good old Irish folk has decided not to disturb this wonderful piece of history and figure out what's in it, but we just have it there respectfully, don't climb the rocks. Yeah. And the thing is that it is huge. It doesn't look as big as it is, but you could actually walk around this thing. We spent a lot of time just walking around, getting almost 360 degree views of that entire Knocknearea area.
Like, the grave is actually so big that you can see it from, because I used it as a navigation point a bit because I had Google Maps in my head and I knew which side Knocknearea was on, and I'd recognize it by just seeing this hill with a little thing on the top, because you can literally see the grave from that far away. So when you're standing in front of it, it looks even more massive, and also it's like, what a view for people to come and like pay your respects at the grave, and then just this huge massive view, 360 degrees of mountains, sea, lakes, all kinds of landscapes all around.
And as the wine alluded to, there is also Strandhill. The thing is that you can almost lump these two together, because once you walk down the hill, well, Queen Maeve's grave, it is a hill. I assume it's a hill. Yeah. I'm from Barbados. We have one thing that almost counts as a mountain, so I'm not au fait.
Mountain.
Leave me, Austrian. Leave me. So, as we talk about the thing that Austria doesn't have, a beach, we move ourselves to Strandhill, which is a lovely little village area, which to me equated to a place with lots of food by the seaside. This is how you want your seaside towns. Lots of food, as well as wonderful walks as well that interconnect along with Queen Maeve's grave, and lots of other walks in the area, as well as its own airport. Yeah, there's nothing quite like taking a walk on the beach, watching some planes, well, small tiny planes go by, and just taking in this lovely nature. There's lots of history in this area, and if you're up for this sport, what's this sport called? Right, surfing, this thing. Sorry, surfers.
It is known as very much as a surfers place, and as you walk towards the beach, there's lots of hostels that also offer surfing classes, and I don't think you can walk around the area without coming across at least several people going to or coming from a surfing lesson. So if you want to try surfing, it's probably a good place. If you're just there for the ice cream and a walk, there's also plenty of walks. There's a walk where you can literally kind of walk across almost the runway of Sligo Airport. It's kind of cool and kind of scary because you have to watch the lights to see if a plane is about to take off or not, or if you see there's a plane that one's about to take off, you have to cross really fast. And they also have an abandoned church and graveyard, and another secret beach. And that's only as far as we got. There's way more trail and walk networks still left to explore. So we just had a few days in Sligo. Let us know what you think about the stuff we did. Is it stuff you would like to do? If you've been to Sligo, let us know what we missed, what to do when we go back. Because I do think it's a place we'll come back to.
Oh yeah, definitely. And until the next video, the next town, the next whatever we do here in Ireland, yes, see you later, bish beta. And don't forget to subscribe.
Bye!